Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, via the relentless and ruthless Sussex public relations machine which never sleeps, have launched an extraordinary attack on me. It was harsh, brutal, characteristically angry. They are such angry people. It was unreasonable, unkind, and unwarranted. And I'm devastated. This has hurt me deeply. And my great crime, according to Prince Harry, H, was to reflect on future tensions in the royal family and my worries about a rival royal court in Montecito, California. Now, I will reveal what I said and what Harry has angrily said about me in response in just a moment. But ultimately, my great crime was journalism. Elite-level journalism, which across the genres of politics, royalty, and the culture wars has made me a global media figure. My journalism on this occasion was based around my deep concerns that the bitter Cold War between the Sussexes and the Waleses, William and Catherine, could well go on to become generational, with Meghan and Harry's offspring potentially being future antagonists, future troublemakers when they are older. Now, let me establish in no uncertain terms that in spite of my differences with the Sussexes and their wild double standards on parenting, which I'll come to shortly, it is abundantly clear that Harry and Meghan love their children. It's abundantly clear that Harry and Meghan care deeply for their children. That is not in dispute. It is self-evident. In fact, I've often said that one of the few positives of Harry's union with the Duchess has been the existence of Archie and Lily. Sorry, I don't, by the way, say Lilibet. I consider that to be a stolen name from the late Queen Elizabeth. And I've been on the record non-stop as saying that children are always off limits by way of public critique, including Archie and Lily, because they are children. You will not find a syllable of criticism from me about Archie and Lily, and I've said that until they're adults, that will remain the case. That is a red line for me. And in fact, I've often said on this show that no doubt Archie and Lily are fabulous, cute, adorable, cherished kids. And I wish them well for happy, fulfilled lives. In the past, I've said with a degree of humour that you don't choose your parents. So for the hundreds of hours that I've been broadcasting, you will not find any critique of these little creatures.
Okay, so apparently there's a new rule now. You're allowed to build an entire multi-million-dollar media empire off your children's faces. But the second a journalist so much as speculates about what those kids might do in 20 years, you're a monster. That's the logic we're working with this week, apparently. Mark Dolan went on a podcast, said something mildly speculative about royal family dynamics carrying into the next generation, and got hit with a statement from Team Sussex calling it deeply distasteful. And somewhere in Montecito, the irony detector just caught fire. I want to talk about two things today. First, quickly, what actually happened with Dolan, because his response to it is its own special kind of television. And second, and this is the real meat of it, the actual documented years-long hypocrisy of two people who built a brand on the word privacy while running what might be the most aggressively public parenting operation in modern royal history. Quick recap for anyone who missed it. Broadcaster Mark Dolan appeared on the Royalist podcast with Tom Sykes and made comments about the long-running rift between the Sussexes and the Wales household, floating the idea that tensions between the two branches of the family could, in theory, carry on into the next generation once the cousins are older. A spokesperson for Harry and Meghan hit back, calling the remarks deeply distasteful and saying they were genuinely disgusted by them. That's it. That's the offence. A media commentator made a prediction about family dynamics, the same kind of prediction royal commentators make every single week about literally every member of that family, and it triggered a full press statement. Now, normally I'd leave it there. Grown adults, publicists, statements. This is Tuesday in royal reporting. But then Dolan turned around and made an entire response video about how devastated he was. And that's where I have notes. Look, I'm not here to defend Harry and Meghan. You know that's not what this channel is about. But I also watched Mark Dolan's response video, and I have to be honest with you, it is a lot. The man spent a genuinely impressive number of minutes telling us how hurt, gaslit, censored and silenced he feels, while simultaneously being broadcast to what I assume is a very healthy subscriber count, monetized, thumbnail and all. That's not being silenced. That's Tuesday's content calendar. There's a very specific genre of commentary video where the host gets criticized, and instead of just making the argument again better, they turn the criticism itself into 40 minutes of content about how brave they are for having been criticized. It's a bit of a trick, honestly. You get to have the original hot take and a whole second video about the reaction to the hot take. Efficient, if nothing else. And look, here's the thing that actually matters. Buried under all the I'm a born truth-teller theatrics. He's not wrong about the underlying point. Predicting how sibling rivalries and cold wars play out across a family over decades isn't some unthinkable act of cruelty toward children. Commentators do it about every family in the public eye, royal or otherwise. That part of his argument is fine. But wrapping a fairly ordinary media prediction in this much personal martyrdom does the argument no favours. You don't need the I am devastated, I am gaslit routine to make the point that the Sussex team's outrage was disproportionate. The point makes itself. The theatrics just make it easier for people to roll their eyes and move past a fair criticism. So that's my one note on Dolan. Less wounded truth-teller, more here's why the statement was an overreaction, and the video's twice as strong. Anyway, let's get to the actual issue, because the outrage over Dolan's comments is a symptom of a much bigger pattern. And that pattern is what I actually want to spend the rest of this video on. Here's what nobody in the Sussex camp wants to say out loud. You cannot build a 9-figure media brand around your children and then act personally violated when someone in the media talks about your children. Pick a lane. Let's go through the receipts, because there are a lot of them. The naming. Archewell. Not exactly subtle, is it? A philanthropic foundation named directly after your son, with your son's name front and centre on every press release, every website footer, every annual report. If the goal is genuinely to shield Archie from public life, naming your entire charitable and commercial operation after him is a strange way to go about it. The content calendar. Halloween posts, Easter egg hunts, beach days, ski trips, birthday videos. This is not the occasional restrained, here's one photo on their birthday, that other royals, and frankly most celebrities, stick to. This is a sustained content stream featuring 2 children who by definition cannot consent to any of it. The Netflix documentary and the memoir. Both franchises repeatedly reference the kids, their milestones, their place in the family narrative, because the kids are the narrative. You can't put your children at the emotional centre of a 6-part streaming series about your life and then bristle when the public treats those children as public figures. That's what you made them. The double standard on William and Kate. And to be fair, because this channel tries to be fair even when it's obviously rooting for one side, William and Kate aren't saints on this either. They post birthday photos too. Nobody's pretending otherwise. But there's a real, measurable difference between an annual birthday snap and a sustained, branded, monetized content operation with the kids' names on the letterhead. One is a normal royal tradition. The other is a media strategy. So when a commentator makes a passing prediction about how family tensions might play out in 10 or 15 years, and the response is a statement about demonizing children, I'm sorry, but you don't get to invoke the sanctity of childhood privacy in one breath while your children's faces are the thumbnail of your Netflix trailer in the next. That's not privacy. That's brand management wearing privacy's clothes. And here's the part that really gets me. Every single time someone in the media says something even mildly critical, not about the kid's character, not cruel, just speculative, the response from Montecito is the same three-step playbook. Step 1, issue a statement expressing how genuinely disgusted you are. Step 2, frame the commentator as attacking innocent children. Step 3, let the narrative settle into the media is cruel to us, instead of engaging with the actual argument. It's effective, I'll give them that. It's also completely unfalsifiable. Any criticism of the parents, the brand, the business decisions gets recategorized as an attack on the kids, which makes it socially radioactive to push back on. Who wants to be the guy arguing with someone about attacking children? Nobody. That's the whole point of the framing. But here's the thing. Nobody serious is criticizing Archie or Lilibet. They're small children. That's not what's happening, and everyone with a functioning brain knows that's not what's happening. What's actually being criticized is a set of adult business decisions made by the parents about how visible to make their children, made in service of a media empire that needs content and a brand that needs a story. You want your kids to have private, normal childhoods? Genuinely, sincerely, take the advice everyone's been giving you for 5 years and look at what Princess Anne did with Zara and Peter. No titles, no brand, no documentary arc. Grew up largely out of the spotlight and turned out, by every account, completely fine. Instead, we got a philanthropic foundation named after a 5-year-old. So look, was Dolan's prediction the most tactful thing ever said on a podcast? Probably not, and I've got no problem saying his response video leaned way too hard into the wounded hero routine. But was it some unforgivable attack on innocent children that warranted a full press statement calling him deeply distasteful? Absolutely not. And the fact that the outrage machine fires up instantly for a mild prediction, while the actual sustained commercialization of these kids' childhoods gets a total pass, that's the story here. That's the hypocrisy nobody in that camp wants to talk about. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I being too harsh on Dolan, or does his video have a point buried under the theatrics? And obviously, tell me where you land on the privacy versus publicity question, because I know this channel has strong feelings either way. If you're new here, this is exactly the kind of story we cover. No spin, no PR management, just calling it how we see it. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and I will see you in the next one.